Today on Outside the Box Reviews, we kick off the final week of our October horror figure marathon with the NECA Cult Classics Icons Wave 1 Michael Myers figure from the Rob Zombie Halloween remake. Cult Classics Icons is, I kind of think, one of the best ideas NECA has ever had. As most of us collectors know, once these figures are sold and go off the shelves, most of them end up being notoriously hard to find and the price jumps up like crazy. But twice in the existence of the Cult Classics line, NECA had done re-releases. They did the Hall of Fame, which just re-released some figures that had been a little harder to find, and there were a few actual changes in that. And the Icons line, which basically made a cheaper version of the originally available figure, taking it and paring it down to the basics and re-releasing it at a very inexpensive price. I think all of these went for around $10. Now, the original release of this figure came with a lot more. It came with an alternate head, it came with an extra knife, and it came with a diorama base including a tombstone. And honestly, if I ever got a chance to pick that up, I would love to get all the extra accessories, but what I have here is just the very basic version of Michael Myers. Michael Myers comes with his trademark butcher knife, which is pretty cool looking. I like the blood effect that's so dark here at the tip that it gets lighter and has different splotch effects going on here. Really nice. Some good rivet detail on the handle. Just overall a very well done little knife accessory. The head sculpt on this figure is just alright. It's not as cool looking as the mask is in the movie. It's a little too basic. He has the scars sculpted in there. The shape of the overall mask isn't too bad. I don't really like the shape of the hair. I feel like it's a little too flat looking. They did try to do some paint shading on there. The scars just don't look deep enough. The paint coloration just isn't dirty enough. There's kind of a dry brushing of a yellowish dust kind of color on here, and I think it needed to be a lot darker. And the bottom isn't nearly as torn up as it was in the film. You could also look in and see the eyes of Michael Myers, which is something I don't really like either. It's one of the best things about Michael Myers is how he has the blackest eyes, and it's so hard to see him through the mask. And here you just have these very, very bright blue eyes, so very easy to see in that mask, and you really have to get it in just the right lighting to hide them. Down here we have chest hair sticking out under the collar. You can see the shirt sculpted in there. Then he has his coveralls. These are pretty accurate to the film. He has a little name patch over here, the pockets that are down low, the red collar on here, a lot of dirt and a lot of blood splatter all over this figure. Some more good detail on the back. It's got his back pockets, the snaps going down the side of the coveralls, which is also accurate. His boots, which has some good paint detail on them for the most part. They could use some more black added in down at the bottom here, but the tops look pretty good. There's a little hole in his knee down there, some more blood. The arms look a little baggier, which I don't feel like that's completely correct to the film, but it looks okay. There's a lot of blood streaks going up this arm and a very bloody hand, just like the knife. It has that dark black blood on there, and then it has the red, just totally soaked in blood. His left hand is a little more open, more of a grabbing pose. And on this arm, he has the extra patch up here on the shoulder, which is once again accurate. For articulation, he has a ball joint at the base of the neck. He can swivel side to side. Decent range of motion. You can also get the iconic Michael Myers head tilt out of him. Pin socket shoulders. You can go forward and back and out to the side. It's hindered by the design of the coveralls. We have a swivel at the elbow. He rotates at the wrist, but because of the hard sculpted sleeves, it kind of is hindered by that. Nothing else through the torso. The legs are hard sculpted, but you can swivel at the feet, which is important to getting him to stand. Now, Michael here is in no way what I'd consider a really bad figure, but he doesn't have a lot going for him. The articulation is fairly hindered, and it makes him really hard to get into a good pose. He really kind of ends up looking neutral most of the time because his arms just can't really get into a good aggressive looking pose. He really needed some elbow joints that could actually bend. The head sculpt just isn't what I feel like it needs to be. It's not extreme enough. I think the main body of him came out great, a lot of good detail on there, but overall he's gonna get a very mild not recommend. He just isn't what he needs to be a recommendable figure. Now, of course, I've never had the full version of this figure in hand with the extra accessories. I think that may have bumped him up a little bit into being a more recommendable figure. It wouldn't have changed much, but it would have given him an alternate head, a base that would keep him from falling over all the time, and a different knife. So I think it could have just, by quantity of accessories, made him a little cooler. I kick myself constantly for not picking that version up because it sat on the shelves at my local FYE for probably about a year. And I swear it was right about the time I'm like, I should probably buy that it disappeared from the shelves. Same thing happened to me with the Trick or Treat Sam figure, which was also a Icons release that I picked up. Make sure you check out Outside the Box Reviews on Facebook. There'll be a link below. Also check out Outside the Box Reviews on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. And come join me over on allscaleseverything.com, a new website with a community forum for collectors of all different types of action figures. It's a brand new site, so I invite you guys to come and join us over there and help build the community. And until next time, stay tuned as we close out this month of October with more Michael Myers reviews.